What's up, everybody? My name is Ishi Von Meyer. Today what I'm going to be doing is actually doing an in-depth critical review of the Sam Ovens Consulting Accelerator program. So I have taken the program myself, and if you are into digital marketing or freelancing or entrepreneurship, then I would guess that, and if you're watching this video, then you've probably seen some of Sam's ads maybe on Facebook, or maybe you've even seen his webinar, and you're wondering, what's up with this course? Is this a total scam? Is this some life-changing program that's gonna get me rich? What's up with this Sam Ovens Consulting Accelerator? I know I was wondering the same thing, so the purposes of this video is to try to answer your questions and try to offer a really unbiased, really honest review, because a lot of what I've seen online is people where it seems like either they're, some maybe affiliate, or they're trying to just shill the course, and they're kind of giving an overly positive review, or people who look like they're just calling it out as a complete scam, and they look like maybe they're even a competitor, or it's just something isn't quite right. And I think the truth often is not so black and white. So I want to really offer a balanced and critical review here. So first off, a little bit about my background just really quickly. I'm 23 years old. I graduated college earlier this year, started a consulting business recently. I've probably failed at business half a dozen times, tried to start a variety of different companies, and have had some small wins, and have been having a lot of fun recently with the business I've been starting called Community College Consulting, helping community college students get high-paying internships. So first of all, why was I so on the fence about buying the course? Funny story, actually. My business partner, he had seen the Sam Ovens webinar and showed it to me. And I saw the webinar and I thought, wow, okay, I got a lot of value just from the webinar. But then my business partner was really insisting that we buy this course to start our consulting business. And at the time, he had just graduated college. I had graduated college maybe 3 months before. And I think combined in our bank accounts, we had just around maybe $2,000, maybe a little more, maybe $2,100 in our bank accounts, right? And that's combined. So I have maybe $1,000 in my bank account, and he's saying, dude, we gotta buy this course, And so I'm just thinking, there's no way, that would be ridiculous. Why would we spend all of our money on this course? But at the same time, I saw that there was obviously a lot of value in it, and that maybe it would save us a lot of time on our consulting business. So long story short, we kind of went back and forth on it for a while, and then he watched this video called Face Off with the Devil and showed it to me as well. And really, watching that video was kind of like the straw that broke the camel's back. And in it, Sam says a lot about how, oh, well, when you're willing to invest in yourself a certain amount, then people will be willing to will buy your products at that same price. And a lot of concepts that seemed kind of like, well, is this just kind of a shady sales strategy? But it was very persuasive nonetheless. So we were really faced with this decision, and it was a Saturday. We were staring at the screen. We contacted the consulting accelerator people and were asking them, like, is there any way you can give us a discount? And I was sitting there with $1,000 in my bank account and $6,000 approximately in credit card debt. So really I had like negative $5,000. And, I kind of moped around for a while, actually cried for a couple of minutes, and then handed my credit card to my business partner and said, all right, charge away my last $1,000. And it was a really difficult decision. So was it worth it? Well, watch on and find out. This review is going to be kind of structured as follows. Really, I'm going to start out by talking about just briefly what is promised, right? Because in order to evaluate if something delivers on its promises, we have to first kind of identify what are those promises. So what is promised? And then we're going to talk about the bad parts. We're going to talk about the good. And then we're going to do a section by section breakdown. I'm going to walk you through. I'll jump into my computer. We can share my screen, and I'll walk you through weeks 1 through 6 and give you a breakdown of what's good and bad in each section. And then finally a conclusion. I'll tell you kind of what are my overall thoughts on the course, and do I think it's a good investment or not. First off, what is promised? I've got some notes here. basically, what they say on their website is the Consulting Accelerator is a proven and tested 6-week implementation program that teaches you how to start a wildly profitable 6-figure consulting business and get your first client in 42 days. So pretty standard. Basically, it says, okay, you're going to start a wildly profitable business and you'll get your first client in 42 days. So first off, the bad. Number one, there is a high chance that you will not, in fact, get your first client in 42 days. My business partner and I were 2 people. We were working 40 to 50 hours a week constantly. And I think it took us more like 9 weeks to get our first client. And that was with like really grinding super hard and, really working as hard as we possibly could, and 2 people. And it took us about 9 weeks, and we did 30 strategy sessions and didn't close any of them, before eventually landing our first client. If you're doing something more tried and true, maybe you can do it quicker, but ultimately I'd say there is a high chance that you're not going to land a client in 42 days, or maybe not even at all. You might give up, and you might really not be cut out for this. So I think that already is kind of like, I don't know about false advertising, but believing that 100%, you have to be a little bit naive. Number 2, you won't get that much personalized help. Yes, there's a Facebook group. Yes, there's weekly Q&A calls, but you're going to have to wait for that weekly Q&A call and then kind of wait in line behind a bunch of people to ask your question. And then when you eventually do, they don't know that much about your business, So really just lack of personalized help. And you might want to invest in a mentor, as we did, and pay someone else to coach you privately who's also familiar with the course, in order to really have that personalized help. Number 3, the week 4 is pretty light in terms of actual prospecting training. So they give you some email templates and they give you some organic client attraction methods, and we'll go into this in a minute, but really it's pretty light in terms of prospecting. And we ended up having to do something completely different and actually going to these community colleges in person, which was an idea that we got from another mentor again. So I think they could have done better in terms of prospecting, and a lot of the methods that they recommend, they work for a lot of businesses, but for some, you're still faced with a lot of ambiguity and you'll have to get creative. Number 4, the sales script is good, but it's really not perfect. So the sales script, it's going to need some massaging almost certainly for your specific niche. And the kind of Sam Ovens silence, our mentor taught us to use that in a different way. And we found it to work a lot better when you don't make it this high pressure sales tactic thing. And you give them time, but not pressuring them so much. So the sales script could use some massaging, I would say. Number 5, the money you spend on this course is not going to be the last money that you spend in order to start your consulting business. So in our case, we spent money on ClickFunnels, we spent money on video editing software, on call recording software, on pay funnels. You're going to have monthly subscriptions, you're going to pay for stuff. And then on top of that, if you really want to, make progress quickly, you're probably going to want to invest in some kind of coaching. We invested in coaching from someone who had taken the course themselves, and that's going to cost even more money. So I would really just say, you're not getting the $2,000 you spend on the course. If you really want to start a successful consulting business, it's not going to be the last money you spend. Okay, that's kind of most of my biggest qualms or bad points with the course. Next, I'm going to talk about some of the really good points about the course. Number 1, the Facebook group. The Facebook group is the best Facebook group I've ever personally seen. A ton of people are there to help you. They will comment and offer you advice very quickly, almost always within 24 hours, and people are extremely helpful. And we actually met our mentor, who's been a huge help to us in that Facebook group. So can't say enough good things about the Facebook group. Number 2, this course is probably overall the best single resource for starting a business or entrepreneurship that I've come across. I've taken a lot of entrepreneurship classes in college. I've read a lot of books. So far, and again, maybe for more money, or maybe I just haven't seen them. So far, I have never seen a better single resource all around for business and entrepreneurship in one package. Number 3, Sam tells you what not to do. What not to do in business can be almost as important, or maybe even more important, than what to do. What do I mean by this? Don't do PPC ads before you have a proof of concept. Don't spend a bunch of time on your YouTube channel or on your social media before you have a proof of concept or before you have a niche and an offer and you have a product that people are willing to pay for that's solving their problem, right? So he tells you what not to do. And I think that in many cases can be just as important as what to do. Number 4, the week 5 material, the Facebook ads course, that may just be the best Facebook ads course there is. I personally haven't seen anything better. I've spoken with PPC experts and they say that they've seen $10,000 courses that are not as good as the week 5 material. So the week 5 material, once you get to that point, again, you need a proof of concept first, but once you get to that point is really, really, really powerful. Number 5, the inclusion of the mindset material. So week 2 is all about mindset. And I've found, I know for me personally and for my business partner, your mindset is like the foundation of everything else that's built on top of it. And if you try to get these sales skills and these Facebook ad skills without having the underlying mindset, it's just never going to work, and you're just going to quit or niche jump or just suck, and your business just is not going to work. So I think it's great that he included some mindset material. Number 6, Sam's underlying sales strategy is very good. So I know I also put this in the bad column, but what I really mean here, the script itself needs a little massaging, but the underlying sales strategy, really good. Let me explain why that is. The prevailing wisdom in society, in Hollywood, the kind of Wolf of Wall Street sales, this kind of loud, rah, shove it down their throat, it's BS. It doesn't work. And what Sam talks about is sales that's about listening, right? It's about listening to what their problem is and presenting yourself between the gap of their current situation and their desired situation, or between their island A and island B, if you will. So I think that the underlying sales strategy is really brilliant, and it's really allowed my partner and I to, be able to close people over the phone for large sums of money within a very short period of time. So that's kind of the bad and the good. And what I'm going to do now is jump into my computer and actually walk you through each section. I'll show you what it looks like from after you've purchased the course, and we'll walk through each section. So we're going to jump into my computer now. All right, so I'm in my computer. I'm really just going to walk you through in each week and talk about what I liked, what we didn't like. So week 1. Week 1 is fundamentals and foundations. Overall grade, I would give week 1, I'd say around a 9 out of 10, so like A-. It's really, really solid, and a couple room for improvement. So only 4 things that matter. Absolutely genius. I actually have it open in this other window. Look at this. This is just like, oh my God. We posted this on our wall everywhere. It's so good. It's important that you don't do all these BS tasks, and as entrepreneurs, we have a tendency to do everything except for what we really need to be doing. So 4 things that matter. Just so sick. Absolutely love it. Kind of moving on, the natural law, the consulting equation, right? Your niche offer result hypothesis. Definitely some really good stuff in here. The evolution of a consultant, right? So this is basically Sam Ovens telling you, hey, you need to not skip steps. And the evolution of the consultant kind of goes from like done for you to done with you to one-on-one coaching to group coaching to webinars and online programs, etc. And what he's saying is don't jump to online coaching when you haven't worked one-on-one with these clients a lot, so that you have enough of an understanding of exactly what their problem is and exactly how to solve it. Because otherwise, you're going to make an online course, it's going to suck shit, no one's going to buy it, it's going to be bad news. Constantly iterate on your niche offer result hypothesis, right? So if we go down, he tells you how to pick your niche. This stuff is pretty good. And then making your minimum viable offer and really just coming up with that niche offer result hypothesis and constantly iterating on it. So this stuff was extremely valuable. You can see like there's the worksheets here for all these different steps and kind of in building your foundation of your business. And then he talks more about your messaging and how you can keep iterating on that to get that to really hit hard. Area for improvement in week 1. I would say week 1 could basically be improved just by telling you to do more market research up front. Sam tells you to do some market research. He tells you to email some people. He gives you some questions to ask your friends about like your own strengths and weaknesses. But ultimately, we didn't do a lot of market research early on. We went out and just tried to sell. And we ended up having to go back to the drawing board and essentially just do market research interviews. So what I would recommend is that they add like do 30 market research interviews, and if he would give you the questions to ask for those, and because we ended up having a private mentor, and he told us what questions to ask, and that was extremely helpful. But I think for how comprehensive this course is trying to be, it really needs to have that. So that's kind of a little bit of a shortfall. So that's week 1. Now moving into week 2. Week 2 is just really about mindset, personal development. It's pretty straightforward. But I know for me personally, I can trace a lot of my problems in business back to mindset problems. So I think it's really important that they put this in here. Overall grade, I would say, maybe B minus. And I'll explain a little more why about that overall, but it is good. It is good. So the dark force holding your heels. It's just kind of talking about, what's holding you back and what are all these kind of limiting beliefs and worldviews that you have that are preventing you from having a successful business. And then the face off with the devil video. This one is actually, I think, released on YouTube. And this again talks about, how when you're willing to invest in yourself, other people wouldn't invest in you. If you take a long time to think about buying decisions, other people will do that with you. And kind of this paradigm of what you give, you kind of tend to get back. Duality and the conflict of man. Yeah, so kind of just how your mind works, right? And just kind of helps you better understand your mental programming. The alchemy of self material in general, my business partner was a little bit more up in arms about it than I was, but overall, I can't deny the validity of it. And doing affirmations and visualizations and stuff like that, it is scientifically proven. You can find studies on it online, and this stuff does work. My business partner liked this stuff a little bit more than I did. I've read the Miracle Morning, and I have kind of my own routine that I already did. So this wasn't as amazing for me, but there's some really good kind of explanations of the Pareto principle and feedback loops, society's bias towards physical and material reality, while overlooking what's really going on, that's not visible to the naked eye. Another thing in week 2, of course you get this box set when you order the course, and the Alchemy Planner is also, I would say, another really good thing about week 2. So I personally have my own planner already, which is almost identical to this, but the particular prompts, I can't say enough good things about them. It really is. It seems silly, but it's really important. You got to plan everything out. It'll really maximize your productivity. Shifting your mindset from a fixed mindset to a growth mindset is huge. He talks about that a lot. And ultimately just, how to think like a rich person, how to reason with first principles and not by analogy, and not using mental models that really hinder you. So that's kind of some of the positive points. I'd say that the no huge negatives, but the reason why I rate this one more like a B minus is just because it's not going to be anywhere near sufficient, at least it wasn't for me, to build the foundation that you need in order to really succeed in business. So I would recommend books like Think and Grow Rich, Awaken the Giant Within, audio programs like Personal Power 2, High Performance Habits by Brendon Burchard. You're going to want to supplement this with a lot of stuff, and you need to exercise. You're going to probably want to wake up early. And on top of all that, you might want a success coach or a personal mentor of some sort on top of that. So I guess the focus of it just wasn't exactly where I would have focused. But overall, some great material. And overall, I'm really glad that there is mindset material in here, because a lot of business programs don't offer that at all. And I think it's really like crucial, because that's really your foundation, that all these little skills, these Facebook ads or sales or marketing or whatever, are built on this foundation. And if that foundation of your acuity and awareness and personal development isn't built, then you're really not going to have any results at all. So moving on to week 3. Week 3 is about sales. And so he talks about the illusion of sales, right? The idea, this kind of Hollywood idea that, oh, well, sales is this like rah-rah wolf of Wall Street, shoving your stuff down their throat and being really enthusiastic. That's not actually true at all. And the reality is that sales is about listening, right? It's about listening for your clients' problems. And so Sam does a really good job of kind of driving that point home. The underlying sales strategy, I think, is really solid. And I think the scary part of starting a business, especially for me, is that you have to do all your own sales calls. So it's really, I really appreciate that they put this in here. And it's really clear from what Sam says and the way he explains these topics that he's read a ton of sales books, probably more than 60. There's a lot of stuff from like Neil Rackham's spin selling in here. There's a lot of stuff from just a ton of sales books, and it really is distilled down to something that's really solid. So altogether, it's really good. The sales script, which I have the hard copy of right here, but you can see my screen because it's bigger. This is, the sales script is a great start. It's a good template, but we had to make some changes to it to really make it fit our needs. And I'll talk a little bit about that in a second. The sales cycle, like keeping your emotions out of it. He kind of talks about that also, I think, in this number 1 video, as well as possibly in 4 or 5. And yeah, I mean, that's essentially, those are some of the positives. Digging more into this sales script and what I feel like could be improved about it. Sam recommends this tactic. I'll see if I can find it, but essentially if you can see right here, this silence, right? The Sam Ovens silence. Essentially, it's this high pressure sales tactic where he recommends that you state your offer and your price, and then you're just quiet, and sometimes it might last for 1 to 2 minutes. We've actually found that doing kind of a lower pressure and more just humane approach has worked better for us, and really just trying to focus on the results that the client's going to get, as opposed to saying the price and just being silent and being really high pressure. So I would really just say that this sales script, it's not a fact, it's an opinion, and it is going to need massaging for your particular niche. So overall, week 3, I rate it kind of a B minus. Overall, it's good, right? But some of that stuff with the sales script, I feel like there is some room for improvement. Moving on to week 4. Week 4 is about client attraction, right? So it's about getting people. How do you get people onto your sales calls? Essentially, it's marketing. And week 4 is about organic methods, right? Unpaid, free traffic marketing. And so it talks about, or I guess they briefly touch on paid attraction methods here in the 4th video, but ultimately the real bulk of the paid attraction methods is in week 5 in the Facebook ads. So what we loved about this, jumping to week 6, the 30-day attack. I mean, this is just absolutely genius. The warm app calendar, we use it every day. You need to use it. It's so brilliant. It's like, you need to plan out every day, and you need to start with your long-term goals and reverse engineer that back down to the month, the week, and the day if you want to be sure that you're going to get to that end result. And he gives you a framework and a Google Sheet that's all formatted and ready for you to do that. 30-day attack, absolutely brilliant. I'd say Sam's methods are pretty systematic and scientific in terms of finding the right people to talk to. And I don't know where it is. It's in organic attraction methods. He talks about lumpy mail, right? Lumpy mail. Oh my God, it's so genius. It's just absolutely brilliant. Essentially, what it is like you send packages to your business or your prospect that have something in the package. And the example he uses, he had like a little trash can with like a $100 note sticking out of it, and it was like, you're throwing money in the garbage with your digital marketing strategy or whatever. And it was just, you have to see it. You have to read that he gives you the scripts and everything, but it's just absolutely really, really genius. It wasn't exactly applicable for our niche, or like we haven't found a way to really have their addresses because they're not businesses, they're people, but Lumpy Mail, absolutely genius. What could be improved? Assembling the war machine, right? That war, absolute genius. So what could be improved here, I would say, is just prospecting, right? So some of these organic attraction methods, they work, and he gives you a template or two for sending these Facebook messages, but really the Facebook message template was pretty much trash. It really didn't help us at all. We had to, A/B test and write our own and keep iterating on them. And in fact, I have spreadsheets with text messages and response rates to figure out what people are responding to and what will get people on the phone. So I think really it falls short in terms of prospecting. The methods are limited, and the main way that we ended up doing prospecting was going physically to the places where these people were hanging out, in our case, community college students, and setting up a physical booth, which was an idea we got from another mentor. So I would say just prospecting, really, they could do better on that. But overall, I mean, God, the 30-day attack, the war machine, really good. I give this a C just because, again, client attraction really is like, it's prospecting, and I feel like they do kind of fall short in some of the nuts and bolts and the templates and what it really takes to prospect beyond just like some really basic, Facebook stuff. So moving on to week 5. Week 5, oh my Lord, week 5 is just, week 5 is nice. Fractal Facebook evolution. Essentially, week 5 is Sam's Facebook ads training. I mean, geez, where to start? It's just absolutely brilliant. One of these, he tells you how to get super. It's a great like strategy, how to get super cheap likes on your page. But essentially, he unveils the Facebook algorithm. You can kind of read some of what he writes here. It uses some abstract kind of analogies for it, but I think they're absolutely genius. It's incredibly in-depth. It's insanely detailed. And overall, I mean, just from the macro strategy to the micro details, it's just nice. You don't have to figure out a single thing by yourself. You just follow these steps. He tells you exactly what to do. He gives you all the worksheets and everything. Really, Sam has systematically determined like exactly how Facebook's algorithm works, and he explains it in a way where you're able to give Facebook exactly what it wants. So I would assume that these strategies are just going to keep getting better and better as the machine learning and as Facebook's algorithm continues to improve. And Sam has made, I think, about 90% of his 65 million net worth directly through Facebook ads. So he's a really good sorry, just a text message. He's a really good source for this. He tells you to focus on fundamentals instead of like these quick fixes or these exploits. And the Facebook algorithm update is designed to prioritize content that's centered on your friends and on your family and stuff like that, rather than prioritizing spam from businesses and political groups. And I think as the algorithm continues to improve, these strategies are going to continue to get better. He's got a great framework for troubleshooting. As things, when things go wrong, because things will always go wrong. There's swipe files in here. I'm trying to remember where they are, but there's swipe files in here of his personal, $1 million plus Facebook ads. So absolutely great there. Also, I think just the fact that Sam drives the point home repeatedly, don't do Facebook ads until you have a proof of concept, right? That's so valuable in and of itself, because all these Facebook ads courses, they come from the perspective of Facebook ads and say, oh, just do Facebook ads. Facebook ads will solve all your problems. No, you need to have a proof of concept or you're going to be wasting your money. So that's really huge too. In terms of what could be improved, honestly, week 5, nothing really comes to mind. I would say this is by far the best week of the course. It's really that good. I mean, it's just really genius. Oh, that was it. That was the troubleshooting Facebook ads cheat sheet right there. So yeah, moving on, week 6, the last formal week. It's about minimum viable service delivery. Overall, I give week 6, I'd say about a C. There are some great project management and workflow strategies. He talks about incentive client expectations. I think he gives you this He gives you the consulting services agreement. We've used that. We made some edits to it and used that. And we actually sent it to one of our clients, was a lawyer, and we sent it to him, and he was impressed with it. So I guess they did a really good job with this. And in terms of finance and cash flow, there's like some pretty solid frameworks here in terms of managing finances and cash flow. And then, how to scale, how to hire contractors in order to really scale your business up. So a lot of good stuff here. I guess my biggest qualm with with the week 6 material. Now, granted, it would be next to impossible for Sam to give you like a one-size-fits-all, this is how you're going to deliver exceptional client results in any niche, right? Because this course is designed to fit people who serve a variety of niches. But I felt like in this course overall, it was a big focus on getting clients and not a big focus on really serving and delivering to your clients. And that's also reflected in the 4 things, right? And I added a 5th thing, which is getting client results, because none of the 4 things are getting client results, right? There's your foundations, there's your mindset, and there's your generating strategy sessions and doing strategy sessions, but nothing about what about when you have the clients, then what, right? So I think it would have been nice if they would have added more of a framework for how can you continuously deliver great results. What are maybe some templates for forms that your clients can fill out before they work with you? It's something our mentor uses and that our mentor gave us to really deliver exceptional service to your clients and make sure that they're satisfied. And also, getting testimonials from them once they are satisfied and all these things to kind of help build your business. So I feel like it was kind of lacking in terms of systems that you can put in place to be efficient and get client results. But other than that, week 6 definitely has a lot of valuable stuff, and that the client services agreement and some of the finance mastery stuff is really valuable. So was it worth it? It's been, I'd say, almost 4 months now since that fateful day when we drained our bank accounts to buy the Consulting Accelerator. We've eaten rice and beans so many days, I don't even want to think about it. Salami sandwiches. It has not been ponies and rainbows. It's been a lot of hard work. We did not land our first client in 6 weeks. It took us about 2 months or like 9 weeks to land our first client. And when we did, it was for only $500 up front, and then the rest after we delivered. Since then, we have made much more than our $2,000 back for the course. We probably made an additional $8,000 or $10,000 on top of that. But that's been working 6 hours or 6 days a week, 2 guys, 40 to 50 hours a week. 9 a.m. to 6 p.m. pretty much every single day. And it's been extremely unglamorous. It's been difficult. It's been at times really frustrating. We've gone through lists of 500 people, added them all on Facebook, and a week later we only had 25% responded to us. We've cold called 200 plus numbers in a day, just to get most of which the numbers were wrong, just to get like 30 market research interviews on the phone, just to figure out what these people wanted. Not even to ask them to buy anything, just to do market research. We've set up booths at community colleges. I've approached over 100 people in a day, walked up to people, asked them personal questions, asked them for their contact information to try to do prospecting. We've woken up at 5 a.m. some days and worked till 11 p.m. It's just been a very long and hard road, and it is not like some glamorous, in 6 weeks now I'm 6-figure. It's not like that at all. With that said, it's also been extremely rewarding. We've helped our clients quit jobs that they hate. We've helped them land internships in a field that they're really passionate about. We were able to get a client who was really passionate about music. We were able to get him an internship at a Grammy award-winning music studio, and we've gotten testimonials, and it's been an extremely rewarding endeavor at the same time. And my partner was able to quit his part-time job that he's using to pay the bills, and we do see a road ahead and a clear path to get to 6 figures over the next year, and then likely 7 figures maybe a year or two after that. So all of that really, I think, would not have been possible without the Consulting Accelerator course. Maybe we would have been able to do it, but it would have taken us a lot longer, and we would have, ultimately had to learn that information one way or the other. So I really see no way we would have been where we are right now without the course. So in conclusion, the Sam Ovens course is not without its flaws. As I've gone through each section, there's plenty of things that I would have added, changed, and done differently. And it almost certainly will not make you rich in 42 days. In fact, you probably won't make any money in 42 days. And you might not even get a client for 2 months or 3 months or ever if you don't have extreme mental toughness, extreme discipline, and you are just absolutely all in with your business. With that said, having taken several other online courses, having paid $1,000 or more for an online course, the Consulting Accelerator is, as I said earlier, in my opinion, the best single resource for learning how to start a business that is available anywhere. If you are truly committed to starting your business, if you're willing to put in, everything that's necessary in order to make your entrepreneurial dreams come true, then, like I said, I think this course could probably save you months, maybe even years of mistakes, and it can put you on the trajectory where if you work hard enough, long enough, don't niche jump, seek out other resources and other mentors, constantly listen to your market, constantly improve, and just never give up and have the grit and tenacity, just keep fighting, you can start a really awesome business, and you can escape the shackles of a 9-to-5 permanently and really make your dreams come true. If that's you, great, props to you. But if you're not willing to put in the work, and if you're the type of person that wants to blame or complain or procrastinate, or just you're not fully invested, then I would definitely recommend not wasting your money on this course, because you're going to buy it and you're not going to do anything with it, and you're not going to make any money. So with that said, if that does sound like you, and if you do think you have what it takes, then congratulations and props to you. And maybe we'll see you in the Facebook group. I hope this was helpful. I hope that this was useful to you in terms of deciding whether or not this is the right fit for you. And if you have any questions, or if you've taken the course and want to add your own 2 cents, then feel free to leave something in the comments. Thank you guys so much, and have a great day.